PCOS is one of the most common, yet most misunderstood, conditions in women's health. For many, it's a frustrating diagnosis of irregular periods and difficulty losing weight. But if we look closer, PCOS is actually a fascinating look at how our metabolism and our hormones are deeply connected. Today, we are going to spend the next few minutes doing a deep dive masterclass into the biology of Polycystic Ovary Syndrome. We aren't just talking about symptoms, we are talking about cellular signaling, the brain-ovary axis, and the real reasons behind the fertility traffic jam. If you've been looking for answers that go beyond just lose weight, you are in the right place. Let's break down the science simply. To understand PCOS, we have to start at the top, the brain. Your cycle is governed by a rhythm of pulses from the hypothalamus. In a standard cycle, these pulses tell your pituitary gland to release FSH, follicle-stimulating hormone, to grow an egg. However, in PCOS, the pulse frequency is too fast. This causes the brain to pump out too much LH, luteinizing hormone, and not enough FSH. Think of FSH as the fuel for the egg. Without enough fuel, the follicles start to grow, but they stall out halfway. They don't disappear, they just sit on the surface of the ovary. On an ultrasound, this looks like a string of pearls. These aren't tumors or dangerous cysts. They are simply follicles that are waiting for a signal that never comes. Now we have to ask why the brain is sending those fast pulses. For nearly 80% of women with PCOS, the answer is insulin resistance. Insulin is a powerful growth hormone. When your cells stop listening to insulin, your body produces more to compensate. High levels of insulin do something very specific. They travel to the ovaries and talk to the theca cells. These cells are responsible for producing androgens, like testosterone. Under the influence of high insulin, the ovaries produce a surplus of testosterone. This excess testosterone acts like a chemical varnish over the follicles, making it nearly impossible for one to become dominant and release an egg. This is the vicious cycle of PCOS. High insulin leads to high testosterone, which stops ovulation, which further upsets the metabolic balance. But what about women who aren't insulin resistant? This is often called adrenal PCOS or inflammatory PCOS. Your adrenal glands produce a precursor hormone called DHEAS. In response to chronic stress, whether that is emotional stress, lack of sleep, or gut inflammation, the adrenals can overproduce these precursors, which then convert into testosterone. Inflammation also plays a role. Chronic low-grade inflammation tells the body it is in a state of emergency. When the body is in emergency mode, it deprioritizes reproduction. It blocks progesterone receptors, making your periods irregular and your uterine lining less receptive. Understanding your specific driver, whether it is insulin, stress, or inflammation, is the only way to effectively navigate the journey toward fertility. If you are trying to conceive with PCOS, the standard rules of day 14 ovulation usually don't apply. Because your LH levels are often always high, standard ovulation strips can give you false positives for days on end. The real roadmap involves tracking basal body temperature, BBT. By measuring your temperature every morning before you get out of bed, you can see the thermal shift that proves progesterone has been released and an egg has been dropped. This, combined with monitoring fertile cervical mucus, allows you to find your own unique window. We also have incredible tools like inositol to help sensitize those insulin locks and medications like letrozole that can help the brain send that missing FSH signal. When these tools are used together, we are doing more than just trying. We are clearing the path. PCOS is often described as a hormonal traffic jam. Because the signals between the brain and the ovaries are getting statically charged, many follicles start to grow at once but get stuck before they can release an egg. By using metabolic support and precise tracking, we are helping the body navigate that jam and find its natural rhythm again. A diagnosis of PCOS is not a sentence of infertility. It is an invitation to understand your body's unique language. When we stop fighting our biology and start supporting it with the right nutrients, stress management, and tracking, the traffic jam begins to clear. Your body is capable of incredible recalibration. Thank you for spending this time in our masterclass. If you found this detailed breakdown helpful, please subscribe to Health Explained Simply. We believe that clarity is the first step toward healing. For educational purposes only, always consult your healthcare specialist.